All right, yo, we are back with Mr. Jordan Phillips from We Are Apollo. Not really We Are Apollo LTD. Awesome
Right,
pop
right.
group out of all everywhere. I know they're out of Nashville, Tennessee, but everybody ain't from Nashville. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, so I am very
Right, right.
favorable of this group and I vibe to their music. You know what I mean? I've heard a lot
To
of
the
it before I
fullest.
even knew what their name was. So we are
Right,
very, very
right.
happy about that. And like we do
I
every
appreciate it, man.
guest that we bring on, they get one of these. Y'all get some likes, loves, thumbs, and all that digital stuff that you can't do when you
Right,
ain't
right,
live.
right.
That's it.
We're honored to
I
have you
love it,
on,
man.
sir. Honored to have you on. Appreciate you sliding through for a minute on the Not the Same podcast, sir.
Absolutely,
Hey,
man. Glad to be here, fellas.
hey, so I'm gonna give a backstory, man. Hey, look, everybody, I
Yep.
want to get this man his flowers because we had an opportunity to meet Apollo LTD at the Andy Mineo
Aaron Cole.
oh my goodness, Aaron Cole concert. Hey, Aaron
Yeah.
Cole, if
Help
you
his brain.
watch
Help his
this, my
brain, Lord.
bad, brother. Hey, I've been at work all day, brothers. I've been
I
at
got
work,
you.
but
I got
we
you.
got a chance to meet this brother at the concert, and they were up there and seeing. I was like, man, we heard this song on Boost. We heard this song on
Mm-hmm.
Boost.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Boost is a local Christian station here that plays all positive hope and hip hop.
Yep.
And we always hear your song. Enjoy FM. We always hear your song. So I saw these brothers breaking down, and I just walked over. It's like the Lord placed it on my heart. Walk over and start conversing with them, and hey, they were some cool brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got a chance to meet Aaron Jordan. I can't remember the drummer name, but I do know he was from St. Louis. He was
Salute.
representing the Cardinals. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, just and he was super tall. Like I had to look up at this man.
He's a big dude. Eric. Yeah. He's a big he's a
so
he's a
so
big dude. You know, he was a Division 1 tight end. He played
Oh
tight
wow.
end
wow.
and he just like recently. So this is for those of you guys listening. It's our keys player. He comes out and tours with us. He's a sweetheart of a guy. He's like
Yeah.
6'6",
Oh
every
Right,
wow.
bit
right,
of
right.
like 245 pounds. I mean, he's like, and he told me, I think he played at Iowa or something like. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
well, I played football at Iowa. I was like, bro, I've known you for 4 years. I didn't know that. Like,
Right,
he's
right.
just one of those guys, man, like super humble.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
acting like
But
it
I just
wasn't
want to
nothing at all.
nothing like it was
Oh
nothing.
yeah,
You hear me? Yeah. But I wanted to give you your flowers, man, because you could have played. I introduced myself, told you what I was about. We started conversing, and you was just super down to earth and cool, man. So shout out to you because we've met a lot of known artists. We will not say any names that don't quite act like you do, sir. So we appreciate
well,
that.
hey man, it's all love, dude. I appreciate you guys for hanging out, man. Like I said
Yeah,
before we jumped on here, this is the good stuff, bro. This is
Yeah.
like, I end up sitting a lot in my studio. We do a lot of writing and production for ourselves and for other people. And, most people don't realize like I'm sitting in this studio by myself most of the
Yeah.
when I'm not on the road, we're not doing other things. It's like I'm just in here chilling. So to take a break and hang out with you guys and kick it for a little bit is a blessing for me. So
all right, dope, dope. Well, let's go
Dope,
ahead and get
dope.
in with
All
these
right.
questions,
So,
brother.
right. We always give all these nice, pleasantries and be very, very nice to people. And then we ask all the tough questions. So, Rob, as tradition, I always let Rob go first. Rob,
Yeah,
get him.
man.
Nah, we ain't gonna get him.
So,
We joking. We joking.
um, where did your love for music come from, and was it always to be faith based? Like,
Mm,
were
yeah.
you secular at first, or where did the love come from?
yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, okay, so let's first like with just music in general.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't come from a musical family whatsoever. My
Wow.
dad started an inner city ministry for women
Mm,
in downtown Atlanta about 40 years ago. And so I
wow.
grew up in a home, like a ministry home, an outreach home, and uh, and but there was no music, dude. Like no music.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden they had a kid come along. I've got a brother and a sister. So their third child, the youngest, all of a sudden is like jamming out to rock music and listening to everything, man. I listened to it
Yeah.
all, and I wanted to play guitar. And so they got me a guitar. They were kind of skeptical, and then literally that they gave it to me for Christmas. And by Christmas night, I had played it so much that I broke it. It was such a cheap guitar, but I had just been like going, man, just like trying to learn chords and tuning it, and it kept going out, and eventually it broke. And my parents were like, "All right, man, well, maybe there's something to this. Maybe he actually needs to learn." So, I honestly, I fell in love with music very early in life. And I played guitar a little bit, but I never actually knew that I could sing until I was about 17 years old. So I had played for, dude, I played music, just kind of guitar, and like had some buddies that played and whatever, and listened to, I was like taking in so much music, but never really sang. And then all of a sudden there's only a few occasions like this in my life that I can remember very specific moments. And actually I remember, it sounds so cheesy, but I remember when I like realized that I could kind of sing a little bit, and literally, bro, it changed my life after that. Like, it was literally like God kind of like opened up a whole new side of who I was, and opened up my eyes to dreaming beyond the kind of suburb that I lived in. And but to be honest with you, the other half of your question is like, that's kind of when it started. But I didn't grow up listening to a whole lot of Christian music. And I listened to everything. I mean, I listened to rock, I listened to rap, I listened to, but I do remember when like this band Jars of Clay put out a record. My sister had that album. Remember that band? I mean, they're great guys.
Yes,
they all live in Nashville. But like, that record was huge. And but I also like listened to Nirvana and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Dr. Dre, and I listened to Weezer, and I listened to the Fugees. Like, I literally just I loved it all.
Wide palette.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's why, honestly, that's why we do so much producing these days, is because I grew up on so much different stuff that it's actually a lot of fun. It's really life-giving for me to work on a lot of different projects and a lot of different styles of music and whatnot. But man, that's how when I started, I left Atlanta, moved to Nashville, and joined a band. It was a rock and roll band, Beatles, Aerosmith, like old school, just like 4 dudes, 3 of them sang, 2 guitars, bass, drums, just getting after it. And that was, we didn't really create Christian music at the time, but we were all believers. And so it was kind of, man, I say that like in everybody, every part of the body of Christ, okay, it has a role to play. It's like an orchestra, and each one of us has a specific note that God intends for us to play. And the art, especially as a musician, it's like the art that you create dictates the trajectory of your career. So if you make music that is general market music or secular music or whatever, or if you make gospel music, guess what radio stations you're going to be playing, guess what venues you're going to be playing, And so early on, we were a rock and roll band, and we played in bars and clubs and theaters and bars and clubs and theaters and bars, and it was like God literally took these 4 dudes that were Christians, but like when we got together, we made this rock and roll music that was positive. It wasn't contrary to who we were. It wasn't contrary to our faith, but it was just kind of more like general market music. And we did that for, we did that for 8 years. We did that for 8 years. And then when we left that band, we started Apollo. Like Adam and I were in that band together. And when we left that band, we signed, with a company out of Los Angeles to write songs, and we stayed in the general market space because that's all we had ever done. That's literally all we knew, man. I didn't know anything about like the CCM world or the gospel world or any of that. We toured with, Andy Grammer and Kesha and Panic at the Disco, like all these, crazy. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's bonkers. I'm probably jumping ahead. I'm sure you were getting to all these questions. I'm just like, I'm just going here.
Yeah, go ahead. It's your time.
But dude, God, like in that process, man, God just like changed our hearts, and he closed a lot of doors and he opened new ones for us. And as we got older, man, I remember. So I'll take you back to our old band. They were called the Kicks back in the day. Kicks, the Kicks. And we're out on the road, man. We wanted to sell at this club. I think it was in Atlanta, Georgia. It was my hometown, but we were from Nashville, and we wanted to sell out this pretty big club. And we'd been working, man, trying to build up an audience there. And I remember when we played this club and we sold it out.
Yeah.
And we finally, at the time, this is years ago, man. So, we hadn't done a whole lot. It was a big deal. And I remember standing on stage, and I had for the first time that feeling of emptiness where I was like, so this is what it feels like in a small way.
Right.
This is what it tastes like to achieve something. And it was like, I remember standing, we were playing our songs, dude, in this room packed full of people where we're supposed to be on a high,
Right.
And I was kind of bummed out. And it was because I was asking myself, like, what is all this for? What am I doing this for?
Wow.
And it's not that the music was contrary to who we were, but there was something missing about what we were saying in the music. There was something that I feel like I was being, at the time I didn't know it, but there was something I was being called to do that I wasn't doing yet. Wow. And that kind of began this journey of really trying to find significance in the music. And so that's what brought Jesus directly into the music,
Wow, man. That's powerful, man. Hey, artists out there, and for y'all who watch the Not the Same Bible Study, we had talked about this when God calls or he elevates you. We just got off of that. That was our last topic. This is a prime example when God is calling you to do something and you walk in that. And Apollo LTD, you know what I mean? Jordan and Aaron, they are Adam, I'm sorry, forgive me, Adam. Jordan and Adam, they saw that and they walked in it. So that this is a prime example of what we were talking about in the Bible study. Go ahead, C.
Yeah.
Man, that was powerful, number one, what you just said. My question is, how is it balancing being a father and a full-time artist / musician?
Obviously, going out on the road and playing shows is hard.
Yeah.
It's because you're away from the family. But it only just makes it more important to be present when I'm home. And the big, somebody told me a long time ago, it's like, man, you're going to be gone a lot. But that means that when you're home, yeah, and you're there.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to be home. It's easy to be in a room with people that you love and be buried in your phone, checking email, watching TV, whatever.
Right.
But man, it's just like, it's a balance. I don't have it down. I'm not perfect. My wife could probably attest to that, but I do know that it just means that when I am home, I'm doing everything I can, to spend time with my girls and spend time with my wife. And it's priorities, man. It's just priorities. And like our lives, are the fruit of that.
Right.
Our lives will bear the fruit of the things that we prioritize. And if we do prioritize work over our family or work over our marriage or just in general, man, like relationships that with people that we say that we care about and love, like those relationships are going to suffer. So, it's been a lot of ups and downs and trial and error and making mistakes and coming back with hat in hand and going, forgive me,
Right.
That's the truth.
Yeah. That's what's up.
I felt that one, brother. like real talk. Like I felt that one. You kind of gave us a backstory, but did you and Adam vision the 2015, the Apollo LTD EP that you guys are self-titled? Did y'all vision like how it was gonna go and how it would be received, and how did it change your view industry-wise?
Yeah, no. So we had no idea at the time. like
Yeah.
I said, we left our old band, started Apollo, and we started writing songs for. And we were in L.A. I mean, we lived in Nashville, but we were doing a lot of stuff in L.A. and New York, and we started writing songs again and releasing them as this new band that was called Apollo LTD, and it was general market stuff, and we were out on the road playing shows, um, and we signed to a record company in Nashville
Mm-hmm.
that was a Christian label, but they
Mm-hmm.
had a little side label that was like their kind of general market space for
Mm-hmm.
artists that were believers, but the music was a bit more broader in its message, you
Yeah.
know? And so it was actually us and this other dude from the UK who is a hip hop artist who is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Joshua Luke Smith,
Okay.
and we actually got to produce his second record. It's dude, he's so good, man. Talk
Mm.
about like just that dude is anointed, man,
Oh
with
wow.
word, with
Yeah.
just spoken word, and he's incredible. So anyway, he and us were on the label, and eventually one of the guys at the record company came to us and they're like, look, man, like we had this song Gold, and he was like, dude, um, if you're cool with it, we have a song that if you let us go to radio with, there's a bunch of Christian radio stations that'll play this song Gold. They really like
Mm-hmm.
it. We've already showed it to them, but we know that you guys aren't necessarily trying to do the Christian thing, like the
Mm-hmm.
Christian CCM thing.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I think that we were really, I remember when Adam and I at the time were having a conversation. We were like, we were going to create a culture around our band and within our band, a culture of yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that culture of yes was in response to us being willing to sort of let go of control and say,
Mm-hmm.
God, whatever you want to do in our lives, whatever you want to do with our music, whatever you want to do with our career, like we'll let go,
Yeah.
and we'll say yes. So
Yeah.
if and it was literally that one song. Uh, it got played a lot on the radio, and
Mm-hmm.
then they took
Mm-hmm.
another one, and that one got played a lot on the radio, and it was just kind of snowballed, and it became very evident to us very quickly that it was like, oh, there's a lot of Christians that connect with our music,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we never set out to be a Christian band.
Right.
It just happened.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden what happens is, and this is the beautiful thing about it, is like you begin to have a relationship with your fans,
Mm-hmm.
with the people who are listening to the art, and you go, man, like, dude, there's a lot of believers who crave good art that is about the glory of God, man,
Mm-hmm.
and the dynamic of life, and the good and the bad, the beautiful and
Mm-hmm.
the hard, the tough, because life is not just it's not rainbows and butterflies. It's not sunny and
Right.
72 all the time.
Right.
That is
It's
Right.
facts. Yes,
ups and
sir.
yeah, man. I mean, it's like, and so for us, it was like, all right, dude, maybe this is an audience that God is literally walking into our life, and
Mm-hmm.
we're really grateful for it, man. Like
Mm.
super grateful that our music resonated with Christians and non-Christians. But
Hmm.
in the past couple of years, man, it's been like it's a ministry to us. It
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
and we were willing in the beginning to just go like, God, whatever you're doing here, like we're in for it. So let's go.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
think that's awesome, man, because I was just listening to that project Gold. I listened, I mean, to Gold and On the Way Up and a bunch of songs from this project that you were just speaking of, and it was like, I wasn't searching. Oh, is this Christian? I wasn't thinking none of that. I was like, man, these good songs. First thing I thought about
Thanks, man.
because I'm an artist as well, and I'm thinking, man, this mixing is great. That's the first thing I started thinking about. I was like, man, the mix on this is nice. I like the effects on the voice and the switch ups when he sang. Just little details as artists think about that normal listeners don't think about. It's just like, hey, do voice
Right.
cool, you know.
Yeah.
But an artist, you
Right.
think,
Right.
man,
Yeah.
that mix on that and then this effect right here, that's dope, right? And I was like, man, I just think it's so cool that you're able to just be you, because I think the best music is when it's you, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
box is, okay, the music gonna always have a Christian. If you're a Christian, you can't hide it. You're a Christian,
Right.
but you don't have to
Mhm.
be worship leader. You know what I'm saying? They don't mean it's
Right.
wrong that you're not. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's not called to
Hmm.
be a worship leader. And I think it would be inauthentic if you were to go out there and try to be Chris Tomlin. Nothing wrong with Chris Tomlin. I'm just saying
For
that's a
sure.
worship
Yeah.
leader, and he's excelling in his craft. I don't think that's what for you guys, but I don't think he should do what you doing either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
really dope.
Man, the authenticity, man, is so important, dude. And that's the thing is like God, I feel like God is like, I gave you specific gifts. I gave you a vision that is unique to you.
Yeah,
I
man.
gave you a message and a conversation that I want you to have with the world. So don't have someone else's conversation. Have your conversation with the world.
Right.
Make the art that
Oh, that's
moves
big.
you.
That's
And,
big.
you know, and it's like,
Hold up,
and,
brother.
and I
Say
think
that. Say that one more time, man. Say that one more time for me. Don't have the conversation.
just,
that thing you said. Yeah, that was dope. Say that one more time.
oh, well, man, it's God's desire for us as his creation
Yeah.
is for us to be exercising the unique beauty that is
Yeah.
each and every single one of us individually.
Awesome.
And like I said before, it's like, dude, it's like an orchestra, man.
Mm.
You know, like I forget who. There was an author that I was reading, and it's his comparison. So I'm not plagiarizing. I'll give somebody else the credit. Even though I can't remember. I think it was Brendan Manning. I think it was Brendan Manning. But he said like all of heaven waits on the edge of their seat in anticipation for the note that each one of us is going to play while we are on earth. And it's like, dude, when you look at life that way, it's hard to not look at your art that way.
Yeah.
Right.
We should
This
look
is
at our
true.
families.
That's
We should
big.
look at our relationships that way.
Right.
We should be
That's
looking at, you know, it's like the conversation that God wants us to have is one that should be unique to us, given our experiences, given our unique sort of inherent talents, abilities, senses of humor.
Yeah.
You know, like I have so many friends, dude, that are like, they're hilariously funny. And when they get on stage, the connection is through laughter.
Right.
But then
Right.
when he has something to say that's really meaningful, it's just like, boom, you know,
Right,
like
right,
it's so
right.
powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's because he was connecting with who he is, man, who God created him to be uniquely. And that, man, that's like, that took me a long time. It took me a
Wow.
long time to come to that place, dude, because I think it's really easy this day and age for us to be fixated on other people's stories, other people's conversations.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know?
That man dropping nuggets, man. He dropping diamonds.
Y'all listen.
Yeah, definitely. It's for you, C.
Okay, I got a question, an artist question. I see you in the studio. I see the panels back there. I had the pleasure of building my own panels, and it was a great journey. I felt so accomplished as an artist after I did that. And then I went on to go 6 months and not create no music after I did all that.
Yep.
But what was the process like putting your studio together? You know, because it's interesting to me. You know,
man.
Was it a joy or was it like, you know?
Well, thankfully, I have my pops is really handy. So he comes up to Nashville from Atlanta, and we get busy on building out some of these panels, man. We've got some hanging from the ceiling up here, and
cloud
you know
joints,
dude, hey, you know, we're just chipping away at it. I just moved actually.
Yeah.
So my wife and I moved houses about 4 months ago. And so I'm just trying to get this space set up. But yeah, man, it was. I'm not good. I'm not inherently really good at that stuff. But we kind of figured it out, and we're getting somewhere. Slowly, we're getting somewhere.
I mean, listen, to do the panels, my bad, Rob, but to do the panels, I'll trip because I had to actually go buy a drill.
Oh yeah,
because I went to YouTube University and like paused the video on every little part. But you know, it was a cool thing, man.
Same here. Yep.
All right, go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna let y'all brothers have it. I am not. Listen, that is not my anointing at all. So I would be like, going and find me a pops to help me out. You know. Hey, salute to you guys last year, man. You guys were like super busy. January of last year, you guys released what was it? Acoustic sessions, I believe. And then y'all dropped y'all also dropped Nothing is Ordinary, Everything is Beautiful. I had to write that down because I knew I was going to call it Ordinary People or just do something that was going to be. But
We get
what's
that a
next
lot.
for right? What's next for Apollo LTD, man? Y'all released a lot of music, and that nothing is ordinary. Everything is beautiful. First of all, you guys go and check that out. That's 14 tracks. You don't normally get 14 tracks. Artists have gotten very, very lazy nowadays.
Bruh.
And
Absolutely.
before I say what's next for you guys, I want to salute you, bro, because what got my attention when we was down in Springfield, the fact that you sound like the album live. So like salute to you, bro. Like it wasn't no audio effects. You were singing live and you were hitting your notes and doing what you needed to do. And I just, when I go to a concert, I'm like this and I'm listening for everything. And brother, shout out to you. But what's next for you and Adam, man?
Well, first of all, thank you, man. What's next is we're writing a ton. We've got, I don't know if we've got a new record written, but we will let our record company decide if it's a record yet. I don't know, but I think we're like, well, I'll say we're well on our way to having a third album written. And we've been writing a ton, man. And so we've got a new single that hopefully we're wrapping up here pretty soon. And then actually next week we leave out on tour. We're going out on tour with a band called Weird Messengers.
Heard of them. Very nice.
Yeah, man, we're going to be out with them for a month. And then it's summertime. And we're going to be doing kind of the festival circuit and the, you know, the outdoor festivals and city festivals and fairs and all that. Right. Yeah, man, we're kind of opening up with the spring tour. Then we got summer's it's kind of festival season for everybody. And then we're kind of sorting out what we're going to do in the fall, but it'll probably be another, 6-8 week tour or something in the fall. So
dope.
Yeah. And if you guys are on Spotify, when he said they're about to go on tour, like they have their date. So look these brothers up and go out and support, and you will not be disappointed from their show. I guarantee it that you will not be disappointed at all. Very, very talented brothers. Go ahead, Steve.
One last question before we let you go. We don't want to take too much of your time. I ask artists this question all the time, and you are the first artist of your caliber, and what I mean by your caliber, your style of music that we've had on the show. So it's very interesting to me. What is the writing process like for you guys? And I always say this for me. My writing process is whenever I think about it, I'm writing. No matter where it's at. It could be driving. It could be in the shower. I'm going to get something, jot it down, and remember that thought. So, do y'all have, hey, let's all come together, get some coffee, and let's have a writing session, or is it just like, just whenever it comes up?
I wish I for 10 years, man, have been trying to nail it down to the formula that works, and I wish that I had one. I'm like you, though.
Yeah.
My brain's kind of always ticking. It's always, and I'm doing this interview from my phone. Otherwise I would hold up my phone because I feel like my phone has become like one of the biggest tools that I have in creating. I'm constantly, man, notes and voice memos, and I'm always making noise and humming and like doing beats into my phone or something stupid. But we've used my recording from my phone on our records. I mean, we've done that before, used them as samples. I mean, so but I'll say this, man, it's both and. It's not either or for us. We do. Adam and I are always making noise. I'm sitting here in my studio right now making beats and just like making noise, trying to find inspiration somewhere. And then there are days where we have writing sessions, and I'd say like at least 2 times a week, Adam and I are writing with some co-writers. We've got sort of a close knit circle of brothers that we create with, and they understand us, and they're amazingly talented. We write, but honestly, Adam and I write by ourselves, just he and I all the time.
That's what's up.
So I think for years, man, like we spent treating music and writing and creation like a 9-to-5, like a 9-to-5 job, dude. And I consider it like a huge blessing, even though it has its challenges and it has its ups and downs. Like I consider it a blessing that I get to do this for a living. it's kind of bonkers. And so it's easy for me to treat it like a 9-to-5 job because I didn't come from, I'll be honest, like I didn't come from came from a very humble household, like, you know, and so my parents were always really supportive, but my parents worked hard, man.
Yeah.
My dad worked 3 jobs sometimes my whole life, you know, and so my dad's mentality was always like, you can do whatever you want. And if you love it and you feel called to do it, God's going to open doors, but you better make it hurt. Like, make it hurt. Like, you better get after it, you know?
Pops,
and so that noise is always kind of like ringing in my head and that it's like, because it's a privilege that I have to do what I love for a living, I really do take it upon myself to make sure that I'm putting in the hours, man. Like really doing everything I can every day while I'm home. And when 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock rolls around, like I hang it up and go downstairs and eat dinner and hang with my kids and be a husband and a dad. But we spend a lot of time up here, and I wish it was, it's not what a lot of people think. There's a lot of listening to my vocal over and over, editing these tiny little, you know, and finding the perfect, clicking through the internet for an hour, trying to find the right snare drum. Like, you know, it's a lot of that, man. But it's an ever constant evolving process of creation. And sometimes I get it right, and sometimes we get it terribly wrong. And we really try to forget about when we get it wrong. We just try to like brush it off and forget about it and come back the next day. But
you know,
hey, well, go ahead, see.
I was about to say, you know, the fans of music a lot of times they don't know the pain that you've been through to release this project. You know, it's like it's years of this and this and this and this, and then you release it, and somebody listens to it 5 minutes, like, that's trash. You like, bruh.
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, that's all right. They don't have to like it.
Right. Absolutely. Go ahead, Rob.
I was gonna make a bad joke and say you be wanting to treat him like Chris Rock, but we're gonna leave that alone.
Yes, we're gonna leave that alone. Don't do that.
He went there. Oh, anyway, man.
Just my fault. I don't want to offend anyone. I'm not promoting violence. I'm just having a little fun. If y'all watch the show, y'all know how we get down. But we're not going to take any more of your time, because something that you said that was very, very important, brother, that when it gets to a certain time, you go downstairs and you spend time with your wife and your kids. We know you have tour coming up, and you're going to be gone for the month of April and into May. So tell the people where they can find you and Adam, the group, and we'll let you get out of here, brother.
Man, you can check us out on Instagram, Apolograms. We are apollomusic.com, Spotify, Apple Music, you know, the whole bit. Everybody knows where to find music these days. TikTok, it's all there. Right. So, yeah, man, we're going to be out on the road. So look us up. Come see us. We'd love to meet you guys. And we'd love to, I look forward to hanging with you dudes again, man. Let's, let's make something happen.
We're going to find you. Definitely, brother.
I'm going to some of these tour dates for real.
We're going to surprise you.
Let's do it. Come on.
All right, brother. We appreciate it, man. One more time for our brother, Mr. Jordan Phillips from Apollo LTD. Thank you, sir. We are honored.
Appreciate you guys, man. Much love.
Yeah, definitely.